Night of Destruction number 2 of season 4 of the Low Budgets, and we've reached one of the pinnacle events, Tommy, the Demolition Derby of the night. Now, going into this event, there was a lot in the air as far as doubts. Not only myself, but also Shayla, Tommy, we both were going into this event, and I'd say maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before this event, neither of us were sure if we were gonna run.
That's very true. It's sketchy when it comes down to these moments, but it's one of those things where, you know, you gotta take what you can get. Shayla's running a car that's been run already. I already gave it a flat tire. You're running a car that's been run already. There is actually a YouTube event that happened out here.
Yeah.
Matt Pat Game Lab ran yours and Shayla's yours and Shayla's derby cars in an an impromptu auto soccer event that they had out here. So it was literally run a couple days before this Demolition Derby.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're all survived and able to participate is a miracle. The biggest damage of the whole damn night was from me on Shayla's car. So that's no surprise in an auto soccer.
Yeah.
But say you got Nick Wilde. Shayla's got an all-white Mad Pat Game Lab looking machine.
And you got another one that they ran in auto soccer.
I did. In fact, mine was the car that I had to replace a radiator on, but it was a big Toyota Camry, so I picked it for a reason.
Now, when we went into this event, I think we all looked at each other, especially you and me, and said, you know what? Why should we put a bunch of time into this? You know, we'll go out there, we'll have some fun with it, but let's not go crazy with the prep. We didn't. I mean, we barely set up these cars. We didn't move the batteries. I mean, this is as bone dry as we've run a Derby in a long time. Comparing, I compare it back to when you ran the Jetta.
Yeah.
And won.
And well, that's the thing, is that's what I kept having to fall back on. I'm like, well, is this a bad decision? Yes. We shouldn't be taking our cars out the way they are. They're probably going to be the first ones out. Has it been done before? Yes. How was the results? We won. So we bare-boned it this time around. This was definitely no time to prep it correctly.
Yeah.
We were just busy.
Yeah, but it'll be fun to see. This car that I'll be driving is themed to Zootopia's Nick Wilde. I had just seen the movie just prior to this Night of Destruction, and I was a little bit fond of Zootopia, just a little bit. So I decided, hey, what fun would it be to ride and slay a fox tonight? And that's what we're going to be doing with Nick Wilde out there. He's going to be the 00 machine, and we're going to just see what happens. Again, a reminder that the previous Demolition Derby to this Night of Destruction was the one that I got seriously injured in with my back. And when I say seriously injured, I mean luckily seriously injured, in the sense that I'm still walking. It was bruising, Tommy. I still feel it going into this event, and the fact that I told you, I said, if I still feel it going into this event, I'm not going to do it. The pain subsided quite a bit, to the point where I think everything's in order, and I still was figuring out, even 2 days before, if I was really going to run.
You were?
But we decided, I made the decision. I'm going to run it, and I'm not going to push it too crazy. We'll just see what happens. I'll play it as it goes. But and then, like I mentioned with Shayla, she also took some really hard hits in the last Derby, but she's also going to be in it. There's going to be 6 cars in this Demolition Derby, Tommy. Our usual hard hitters of Adam and Johnny will be out there, and Keith.
And the addition of Keith. So we got 6 of the wildest bunch out there, I think. 6 of the most known derbiers in these compact cars. Let it rip.
It's time for the Demolition Derby.
Are there just 6 of us?
Yeah!
So you took the airbags out of these cars? We'll find out.
I took out the airbag. Burn out. This might be the biggest piece of shit derby for everybody. Shayla's got a motor mount. Johnny's car sucks. Your car's low to the ground. I figure bumper cars until it gets serious.
Okay, you remember what your line is. Hang on. We're going to do that line now. I'm going to count you backwards from 5 to 0, and then you're going to yell as loud as you can. You remember? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get him out. Get him out. Look out of your car, buddy. Get out of your car. Yeah, you're on fire. No, I know that. I didn't want to get out when it was green.
Is it good? Okay. Is it red? No, I know that. I didn't want to get out.
Buddy's on fire. I know. I didn't see them throw the red.
Oh, they did?
No. But we're all waiting. I think it might just be you and me. I don't know if they're still running.
I don't think my car's good on what I've been doing.
Think we're good? You ready? Didn't expect that. That was wild.
He's been part of this track for a long time, almost 10 years. Part of your staff that does the announcing on your on-track autograph session. Low budget TV Jeopardy is your winner. How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Guys, I tell you, our team low budget, we've been working hard all night. You may have noticed that we've been kind of coming out a little bit late for some of these events. But we've been going crazy out here, having so much fun. I have so many people I'd like to thank, obviously, taking part for the car. Team low budget, Tommy, he's been working his butt off. Irwindale Speedway, Team 211, you guys have all been great. And Jordan, all I gotta say is, I'm excited.
you. Take a photo with the beautiful girl.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Demolition Derby is complete, and what do you know? Talking about going from the lowest of lows from a Demolition Derby, here I am in victory lane with Nick Wilde. We won the Demolition Derby.
Unbelievable, Jeffrey, how you survived out there. You had to beat up on Johnny. Johnny was beating up on you, but it held together.
Oh my goodness.
It was a fight. It was a battle. It wasn't. I don't remember it being that crazy hard-hitting derby that it normally seems to have been. I think everybody just caught a bad break at weird times. You were just getting started, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Your car literally had not one scratch in the front end. You banged up the back a little bit.
Yeah.
But honestly, we drove it off and into the pits.
We have two kinds of things that happen with the Demolition Derbies, and the tone gets set early, where we sometimes have really hard-hitting derbies like we did in the last one. That tone got set very early, where you see guys hitting each other hard, and you know, if I'm gonna stay in this derby, I got to do the same. This one was very much a chess match. It's like a lot of people were like, well, I'm gonna push you, and we'll see how much harder you push me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were kind of playing that chess match. As you see, it's not like we weren't hitting cars hard enough to knock them out, but like you said, it wasn't the hard-hitting version of the derby. It was more of the strategic Demolition Derby.
People were lining up shots, taking some time. I mean, look at some of the impacts. Shayla fell out early. She got hit in the right front. The car barely withstood that impact. It broke the axle and the entire suspension. So a strategic hit to her front end, and it just happened to be the one weak link on that car that we know of. So she was out early. Adam broke out early, more than I expected. He finished mid-pack. Keith was the first one out, which we're not used to seeing.
Now, Tommy, I noticed you drove by me at one point.
Yeah.
You yelled something to me.
I was screaming.
It was hard to miss what you said.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the stands heard what you said.
So what I noticed out there was that cars were braking early, and everything else. My car was taking a pretty good abuse out there, but so I just wanted to go nuts. I was going nuts, and I was jamming into everything in the way. And the problem is that one of those jams, few of those jams, I should correct myself, were on the front end, and one of them I lined up head on with Johnny. Johnny and I saw each other, we locked eyes, and never got off the gas pedal. And he didn't get off the gas pedal, and I sure as hell wasn't getting off mine. When we hit head on, my throttle cable was broken. Stuck, pulling the engine as wide open as that throttle can go. I went to go hit the brakes, and the engine was still revving up high, and the front tires were still pulling forward. So I knew from then on that either I can try to fix the throttle, so what I was doing was hammering down on the gas pedal to free it up. Wasn't happening. Using my toes to try to lift the gas pedal off the floorboard, it was completely stuck as if it was glued and held together by an 800-pound brick on that gas pedal. It was not budging. Did not budge, and so I said, well, the only way that I can control this car is with the brake pedal. So me slowing down, me using the accelerator was all off the brake pedal. And that's when I came by screaming. It didn't help. What didn't help me at all was that all those impacts caused such an oil down that we were spinning out. With my front wheel drive, front end spinning at high RPMs because the throttle was stuck, I had no control. I was going up the skin of my chinny chin chin.
Yeah, well, it's really cool that Nick Wilde, we brought that car out, and hey, what do you know? The Nick Wilde machine ends up in victory lane. You as you can hear me say, right after the Derbians, I'm just like, well, I didn't expect that. I was completely baffled because, like you said, Tommy, I got to the point where I'm like, all right, let's start seeing where the strategy play is here. And
there's nobody left.
Where is everybody?
Yeah, we're all out of the derby. And literally at one point,
my car, that's way the cleenest the car's ever come off.
Oh yeah,
that won a Demolition Derby.
It's funny because you obviously saw in the video that it almost like someone hit a button to shut everybody's cars down because they all just started dying really quickly.
Yeah, sometimes derbies play out that way. I got lucky in this one.
Congratulations!
Thank you so much.
That's win number 2, I think, in the Demolition Derby.
Yep.
Congratulations!
Second victory in the Demolition Derby.
We brought 2 trophies home that night in the Demolition Derby. I finished 3rd. You finished 1st.
Yeah, you're right. And Shayla coming home 5th. That's a wrap on the Demolition Derby. But folks, the fun's not done yet.
We still got one more to go.
trailer race is coming up next.